Hi, Julia Watts here. Welcome to my YouTube channel. So today we're going to be doing some festive stamping with woodware, and we're going to be doing some paper piecing. I have previously posted a video with some paper piecing on it, and I don't know about you, but one of these things that when you have a go at something, you remind yourself that that technique was really cool and you really liked it, and so you kind of do it again and again and again. So anyway, we are going to be using this stamp from Francoise, which is called Nordic Houses FRM085. So it's one of the smaller sets, and you will find it over on my website juliawattscrafts.co.uk. Obviously mine's a bit dirty because I've used it, and all of the stamps in here are really usable. What Francoise has done is she's actually made these three houses and the winter wishes all one stamp. So that means that it's going to be quicker for you when you come to do your batch making. They are very easy to cut out. So obviously we're going to be, as I said, we're going to be doing some paper piecing, so that's a plus. So you can separate them and make your own seam, but obviously these are perfectly lined up for you to do some really good stamping. And you've got two trees and you've got a star, and we're going to be using pretty much all of them, I think. Maybe not, but you know, I think we're going to use all of them. We're also going to be using the layered rip papers from Rat Sample, and we're using Dotty and Gingham and the Snowscape papers from Francoise. Do be quick if you want a Dotty and Gingham, because I've only got one left, and once it's gone, it's gone. There doesn't seem to be any sign of a reprint from Creative Expressions on that one. You're okay with Snowscape though. I can still get more stock of that because they did do a reprint of that one. Okay, so that's what we are using, and what we're aiming for. Oh, I need those stamps. What we're aiming for is we're going to do a version of this card here, which is an A6 card, nice and flat, so it's easy to post, cheap to post. There's lots of different variations that you can do. Obviously there's lots of different colour combinations that you can make with the paper pads and any papers that you've got in your stash. So first of all, what I've done is I've used Sam's layered rip papers, and I've used this largest but one die to cut out my background for my scene. And what I did on a previous demo, which is with the wooden snowman, was I actually added some Aubergine Dream pixie powder to this background piece, so that's why it's all a little bit shimmery and a little bit messier than normal, but I thought I'd use it because I've got it. So that's what I did with that, and I will put the link for that wooden snowman into the description of this video so you can find it. So we're going to pop into our stamping platform as best we can. Obviously if you wanted to, you could die cut second, but it's just easier for the purposes of this to die cut first. Let's see if we can pop that like so. And this is going to be our base for our paper piecing. So we just want to stamp these Nordic houses and the winter wishes. The winter wishes is there already, so you've got your sentiment good to go. Try and do it straight. Have a look, see whether it's straight-ish. It's always ish with me. Yeah, middle-ish and straight-ish. And these little stamp sets, this one and the Tree Wishes from the current release from Francoise, are great value for money. The RRP is $4.50 and I sell them at $3.99, so you get a little bit of money off. And they're just great for little cards, or of course by the time you put mats and layers on, you can actually extend it. You can obviously make yourself a bigger village if you want to. Sorry about the movement of the camera, as per when I'm inking up and stamping, it rattles and moves. Give it a good old press. I've used Nocturne Versafine Clair, which as always is available send those over on my website. There's my scissors rattling. There's always something rattling on my desk. There's so much on my desk. It's such a mess. Such a mess. Always like, I'll do that. I'll do that. I need that bit. So everything stays on my desk. The thing is, if I tidy it away, I can't find it. So gently lift that off. I'm just going to go again because I do want to have that Winter Wishes nice and dark. The rest doesn't matter because it's going to get covered up anyway. It's just my base, my paper piecing. Perfect, perfect. So that'll do. So that's all stamped. So what I would do is then stamp it again. And I've already done it, so I'm not going to do it again. Stamp it again on a paper from Dotty and Gingham, and stamp it again with a paper, not another paper from the Snowscape. So here are my bits all cut out, and I've got a grey piece using the largest die in Sam's Rip Papers. That's going to go straight onto my A6 card, and you can see I've cut them out. And I've got all my little bits and pieces that are going to go on top. I did stamp it again twice onto a piece of, another piece of purple card. But I've only cut out the windows and the heart, and I cut the piece out. Now in my original one, all I did was glue the piece on there, but what we can do is actually get more out of it. So we're going to actually get a tag out of this as well. So for the benefit and purpose of this, we're going to actually cut that piece off so we can paper piece those two bits together, and we're going to use that separate on a tag. Now I have also stamped, we'll do, you keep all your little scraps, even your teeny tiny little scraps now. It gets a little bit obsessive, the amount of scraps that you keep now. So we are going to stamp the little tree, and you can get quite a few while you're stamping. While your stamp is dirty, you might as well stamp as many as you can, and you can actually get more if you turn them. See if we can get one there. That's all I can get out of that. So you stamp lots and lots of those and cut those out. I tend to leave them just a few hours before I cut them out, or you cut them out very carefully so that you don't smudge the ink. But the paper does seem to be quite absorbent, so you're good like that. On my original one, I also stamped this skinny tree. You can see here. But we're going to just do it slightly different. We're going to put another couple of these here, just to show that you can do it differently, and just to give you a variation. I also stamped the little star all over, but if you're paper piecing the little star, that's a little bit of a challenge to actually line up properly, because they are hand drawn, so they're not 100% symmetrical. So you can grab, let's grab another tiny little bit. I did say we were going to use all little tiny bits. You can just stamp some stars on some tiny little bits that you might have, okay? And they're easy shapes to cut out, and I find it quite relaxing. If you don't like fussy cutting, paper piecing might not be for you, but I don't mind it. I don't mind it. And you can get yourself a little tiny bag and keep them all in there. Now these snowflakes are another option that we could use. They're left over again from the wooden snowman card that I did the demo of. So, you know, keep everything, don't throw everything away. Right, so those are they. So where's my bit? There we go. Here's my bit. So we're going to now start gluing these just on here to create a scene. Very easy to do. Because you've got your base here, you don't need to worry too much about how you cut it out, because once you pop it on there, if your cutting's not brilliant, the black lines that are on the base are going to kind of line up and look great. So we're going to keep my windows. I look at the dots just in case the windows aren't perfect. I look at the dots to see which one they need to go on. So it's just a case of gluing in place now. Let's glue these first. So remember, there's two sides to a piece of paper as well, so if you make a mess you can always turn it over and use the other side, which I've done on this. So I'm using Sentimentally Yours PVA. It's a wet glue. I know Francoise uses glue sticks when she does her paper piecing, but what you can do is take some tweezers, a piece of kitchen roll. See if we move everything over so you can see, and just dip your piece of paper onto the kitchen roll so that it doesn't have as much glue on it, and you can still slide it around to get it in the right place. So don't stress too much. You can, of course, if you didn't want to stamp an extra time or you can just colour in the heart and the windows. I do like a bit of a challenge. And all those little bits, so on here where we've got these extra bits, if you're sensible you can cut the word love out. I've got another house there that I can use the top of. Obviously cutting the square windows out is a little bit of a challenge, unless of course you're very good with the craft knife. But we've got all this area around here, and actually in here as well, where I can stamp little stars and cut those out. So you know, it takes keeping your scraps to another level, really. It does get a bit silly. So we have 25 on here. I would also suggest, I mean, this is a little bit crinkly because of the amount of water I threw at it with the pixie powder. But once you've glued everything, I would suggest that you stick it underneath a board or a book or something, and then you can get it nice and flat. So this is our piece. What's also quite a cool thing to do is once you've actually paper pieced and make sure your glue is 100% dry, you can then run it through an embossing folder as well, and that's quite a nice effect. Because if you run it through something like a snow type background, yeah, you're going to get quite a nice effect from that as well. And we're going to just let's put glue directly in here and in the window because it's easier. I'm going to use my pickup tool to slot the heart in place, and my bottom window. The thing is with this card as well, because it is flat, you can actually do all the gluing and assembling and then pop it underneath the board, and then everything will flatten out nicely. So that's that. Then we've got our trees that I've cut out, and I've got, instead of doing this skinny tree, I'm going to have 5 of these, so I'm going to have 2 extras of these ones here instead. So let's pop the glue on here, and these are obviously, because these are triangles, these are super easy to cut out. You can see I've reused this. I'm not very good at stamping straight. It's a bit of a challenge, and so I wasn't happy when I did it's from when I did the bauble video with Jane Gill's bauble stamps. I was doing a practice, and it was not the best. Oh, that doesn't go on there, does it? Oh dear, get a grip, Julia. Right, so we're going to have these. So I'm going to have 1 of in line with the houses here. Obviously you can do them in lots of different colours. I've got scraps of the green colour, so I could have done green trees, but I do quite like to limit the palette when I'm doing this sort of thing, which is why I've only gone for teal and purple. And the grey, of course, is quite neutral for the background. So let's have one about there. We can still see joy. And then I'm going to have one in line there. And the other one I'm going to pop on. I've still got the glue on there. I'm going to pop on when I stick it on the background. So let's just grab, see if I can manage to do it before the ink dries. I've got my salvage patina, not ink dry, it's not ink, it's glue, Julia. So I'm thinking ahead, and my mouth's not keeping up with my brain. So I'm just inking with salvage patina distress oxide just around the edge. I can do around the edge of the piece in a minute. Remember to kind of move it around a bit so you manage to get all the way around into all the little nooks and crannies of the die cut. Obviously this inking is optional. If you don't want to do it, don't. Let's grab my background. Let's pop this on here and then we can pop the other tree on. We're going to go out of the piece just a little bit. I do say 3s and 5s with embellishments, but it's whatever you want to do. If you want to do 4, do 4. If you don't want to do one off the page, don't. You know, there's no hard and fast rules at all. Let's see how that looks. That looks pretty good. And we'll grab this before the glue dries. And we're going just off the page a little bit, like that. Okay, that's where we're at so far. That's good, isn't it? I love a bit of paper piecing, really cool. So as I said, now originally what I did was I stamped stars at the top. So I've stamped 6 stars at the top. I told you 3s and 5s, I've just ignored it. But when you paper piece them back in, it is a bit of a challenge getting it in, and it's not 100%, so it's up to you whether you want to stamp it or not. Or I shouldn't really put a clean card on the stamps. Or, like I say, we've got snowflakes that we can put on. Let's just empty my packet. And these are all in the teal colour. So we could go for snowflakes. I'll show you what snowflakes look like. I'm not going to go for snowflakes. I am going to go for stars, I think. So I could just get some snowflakes and pop whatever snowflakes I've got. So it could look like that. I do quite like that. But then I feel like I've got to put pearls on. I don't want to put pearls on. So we are not going to do snowflakes, we are going to do stars. I've actually got one in half as well, because you can have them come in, if you want to keep them, you can actually have them coming in at the top like that if you've got them in half. But we're going to do stars, and these are all on the Dotty and Gingham. And it's going to be a bit of a challenge. I think I'm going to put a smidge in the glue. I'm going to put a smidge in the glue on the back. Let's put a smidge of glue on the back, and then we'll attempt to pick them up with the tweezers. How many I've got? I've got 2, 4, 6. I've got 7 here. Let's go for 5 to begin with. 6, I got carried away. I don't listen to myself. I ought to, really. Right, so let's have that star there. Let's have a cluster of, let's have 2 clusters of 3. I'll have another. Cluster here. Right, so that's where we're at. Happy with that. So I've got one special little star left over, which I might use on my tag, because we're going to do a coordinating tag as well. So let's ink around the edges of this. And I'm only making a tag because I've got bits left over. So basically, obviously I stamped once on the background piece, on the purple piece for each card. And then I've stamped once on the teal Dotty and Gingham, and once on the teal Snowscape, and then I've stamped twice on another piece of purple from the Snowscape. And out of that, I'm getting 2 cards and a tag. It's not bad, is it? Not bad at all. See, inking around the edges with the teal, or with the salvage patina rather, just ties everything nicely in. And now we can pop this onto a card rack, which I've popped under here. This is an A6 card rack. Keeping it completely flat. Obviously, if you don't want it flat, you can add a little bit of foam to it. But I would suggest just using 1mm myself, because it doesn't need a lot. Think of the postage. Like I say, I do find paper piecing very satisfying, because if you don't, not everybody likes colouring in, and it's good to be able to have colour but not colour in. There we go, there's your card. I'll bring in the other one so you can see the comparison. Virtually the same, slightly different. Oh, let's do it so you can actually see. There we go. So that tree's just the difference really, and the positioning of the stars. Okay, so I'm going to put, this is the one I've just done, I'm going to put that underneath my mat to flatten it while we do the tag. So for the tag, I've used the largest but one of the, I'm trying to look for the title, these are the Sentimentally Yours traditional top tags, and they've got pierced and stitched detail around the edge. And I've got my little reinforcer, which I've kept in here so I didn't lose it, and I need to get that on first. So I did the smallest but one of that out of the grey, and then I've got the outer die, because you get an inner and outer die. I've cut that out with pure white card. So we just get our reinforcer on, and they are quite fine reinforcers. So we just dip that to one side on my kitchen roll, and we can pop that reinforcer in place so it's not going anywhere. Let's clean that up. So for this, am I going to stamp? I'm not going to stamp an outer, because otherwise I'm going to, because you can take, if you want to, you can take your stamp and actually cut it up. If you wanted to make 4 separate stamps, you can absolutely do that by cutting the photopolymer down. But I haven't done that, and I don't want to do that, so we're just going to paper piece. So the idea is that we are going to have, and I've very clumsily cut out the winter wishes, one of the winter wishes. So we're going to have the piece on the bottom of my house, like so, and then we're going to have a tree there and a tree there maybe. We can have another tree that side as well, maybe, or even down a bit, overlapping just a little bit like that. And then I've got one star left, which we can have just like that. Just like that. I am going to edge the winter wishes, I think, just because I've cut it out and it makes it look. So I've actually cut it out with scissors instead of using my chopper, just to make it look a little bit less scruffy. So let's get this stuck in place. Really easy to do, just with my leftovers. Glue. And it's nice, I think, if you're giving a card and you're giving a gift, if everything coordinates. Turn that over. So with your stars, if you didn't actually want the black outline, obviously you can use the other side. Okay, that's everything glued. Oh, winter wishes isn't glued yet. I think paper piecing is great for children to do as well. It gets their motor skills going. Oh, I can see myself dipping my hand in the glue. Hopefully that's straight and not wonky. We'll soon find out. So piece just down there, like so. Bit of a challenge when it's cut straight. Okay, and we want tree in line. See, I've moved that over a little bit. Oh. You set things out and you never put things in exactly the same place. Like so. And then we're going to have, let's have it about there, so it's not at the same position as the other, either of the other two. And we'll get our sentiment on first, so we don't put the star where we want our sentiment. Winter wishes, like so, and a little star, like that. Cool beans. I'll show you that. Oop. That's cool, isn't it? I don't know if it's 100% straight. I don't think it is, but it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Right. So also on the back, what we can do is I've got just a couple left of the special delivery from Fairy Hugs. There is 3 for 2 on all Fairy Hugs at the moment because clearing out my stock. There won't be any more, and so we've got 2. So we can put 2. And it's a good idea to do this before you stick your tag together, because you won't be necessarily on an even surface, and you want to make sure your stamping's decent. Obviously go in a platform if that's what you prefer. And from. So we've got 2 and from, and there's even a little heart there on the swivel on the curly bit on the from. I think that just completes the tag by having that on the back. As I said, this is called special delivery, and you also get on here for you special delivery and Christmas delivery as well. And that's from Fairy Hugs. And if you want a quick search on it, you can either search for special delivery or FHS647. And you'll find it over on my website with everything else, juliawattscrafts.co.uk. So let's finish this tag. We just ink around the edges with our salvage patina so everything coordinates and looks fabulous. And on the whole, I tend to just kind of try and get around it, the edge like that. You see the glue's still wet, so after I've finished, I'll pop it underneath my mat. And I am going to just ink around the edges of the white layer as well, because why not? Okie dokie, let's get this glued together. And obviously add some twine afterwards, and it's good to go on my gift. I always do it like this and I never manage to line it up properly. At least the glue lets you move it. Remember, you need to be careful of the Versafine Clair. And there's our matching tag. Ooh. So now I'll get my card from underneath here, and you can see that we've got lovely tag and coordinating, or card and coordinating tag to go to a very good friend, I suppose. Anyway, I hope you've enjoyed that. Do have a go at paper piecing, because it is I find it very relaxing, and you can use up a lot of your scraps. And I hope you've enjoyed it. Hope it's useful. Do pop along to my website, juliawattscrafts.co.uk, where you'll find this stamp set, the Nordic Houses, and everything else from Francoise from this year and previous years as well. Do, if you're not already, do like and subscribe on this my YouTube channel. I'd love to read your comments, and do check out some of my other videos. Thank you for watching.